You don't need a fancy, expensive countertop deep fryer to make incredible fried food at home. Today, we're going to show you how to set up a simple Dutch oven frying station on your stove that can handle everything from chips to fried chicken. Stick with us, and we're going to show you how. So we all have our favorite fried food, whether it's potato chips, French fries, fried chicken, donuts, deep fried Oreos. The list is endless. I know plenty of home cooks that don't like to deep fry at home because the entire process scares them. So if you stick with us until the end of the episode, we're gonna go through all of the equipment that you'll need. We'll discuss the types of oil that we recommend for frying and why that's important. We'll show you the entire setup from start to finish, so that way you don't have to buy an expensive piece of equipment. And then we'll talk about what to do with your fryer oil afterwards. I'm not gonna waste any further time. I'm gonna go wash my hands. I'm gonna get in the kitchen and I'm gonna show you how to do this like a pro. See you there. Step one of safely and properly deep frying at home is our equipment. We need a Dutch oven, we need some sheet trays and some resting racks, we need some tongs and or a spider, and then we also need a thermometer. Now, the Dutch oven that we're using is a Tramontina Dutch oven. We like the Dutch oven for frying because it is made of cast iron that has been enameled on the outside. That cast iron will help hold the heat and help us control the frying temperatures much more steadily. It also has very deep walls, so we can get a good amount of fryer oil in and leave ourselves some headspace, so that way we have safety when we lower our food in and it begins to bubble. Once we have that Dutch oven, the next most important piece of equipment is our thermometer. In order to deep fry properly, we need to maintain and watch our temperatures so our crust forms properly, it browns up nicely, the food actually cooks to a safe temperature inside, and we don't wind up with a poorly fried, soggy, or undercooked piece of food. We are using a Wilton candy thermometer. Derek, we're not making candy. True. However, this type of candy thermometer can handle temperatures that range from very, very low to very, very high. When you're making candy, you're going with crazy different temperatures, and it's the same thing with frying. We're going to be operating in the 275 to 400 degree range, and a normal probe thermometer does not like to handle that very well. Once you have the Dutch oven and your thermometer, we need a good set of sheet trays with resting racks. When we pull our food out of the fryer, we need a landing zone, a place to put the food that's not just on a plate or on paper towels. Whenever we fry, we set up a landing zone that starts with a sheet tray. We'll line that with either paper towel or parchment paper. This will catch excess oil and make cleanup easier. And then we top that with a resting rack. That resting rack is super important because it lets airflow underneath of your fried food, and that helps prevent the bottom of your fried food from going soggy. This stuff is coming out of a fryer very, very hot, so we need to make sure that we give it enough space to cool and not steam on itself. Last on the equipment list, we will need a good pair of tongs or a strainer. In this case, you'll see here, this wooden handled piece of equipment is called a spider. It is just a basket strainer that you can dip in and out of a fryer or even boiling water and get your pieces of food up and out and where you need them to. Now that we've got all of our equipment, we need the oil. So in this case, we're going to use peanut oil. We highly recommend using high heat oil. Derek, what does that mean? High heat oil is just what it says. It can handle really, really high temperatures and operate in those temperatures for long periods of time without reaching a smoke point. You can use canola oil, you can use vegetable oils, you can use avocado oil. All of those can handle the temperatures that we're operating in. When we're filling up our fryer, we want to leave what is called a headspace. When we pour that in, we want to leave at least an inch or two of space, so that way we have enough negative space when we lower our food into the oil that it does not overflow. We've all watched those videos on YouTube of people deep frying turkeys for Thanksgiving and nearly burning their house down. This is what the headspace will help us avoid. So now we have to set up our fryer. Like with most things that we do in the kitchen, we're gonna work left to right. My stove, the way I've got it set up, my left-hand front burner is the hottest burner, and that's where you wanna operate. You wanna be able to have the most amount of heat and the most amount of control. We need good amount of space here. The left-hand side of my stove, I have a small counter space. That is where I'm going to put my breaded or raw food ready for frying. My Dutch oven is going to go on that front left burner, properly filled with oil, with the thermometer set and latched and ready to go. Then to the right, I'm going to have my landing zone. I'm also going to have my tongs and or my spider available to me. From here, we're going to kick the heat on. We're gonna watch for the temperature to land where we want it. And from there, then you can go right from your fryer to your landing zone without just leaving a trail of destruction and a trail of oil everywhere. So the last step that we need to talk about is, what do we do after we're done frying? This is the stage that most home cooks dread the most, myself included. Because of the way that we had things set up, we are going to take that dread right out. Obviously, you want to take care of all of your surfaces, but we have a big pot of oil. First, we're going to let this thing cool down completely. A huge word of caution, do not mess with that fryer oil until it is cooled to room temperature. Once that is cooled, you have two options. The first is full disposal. We never, ever, ever dump oil down our drains. I personally don't dump it out in a compost pile either. What I will do is, if I have a jug available, I will take a funnel, I will move over to my sink, and I will slowly pour that used oil back into the jug that it came in, lid it up, put it in my trash can, and send it out for trash. If I happen to not use all of that oil, I'm gonna save the good clean oil in the jug for later frying. What we'll do is we will get a container that will fold back a gallon Ziploc bag, and we're going to move to the sink, and we're going to safely and slowly pour that fryer oil into those Ziploc bags, seal them up, same thing, put them in the trash and send them out. Now you may be saying, Derek, that is a lot of oil that we only got one use out of, and I don't want to throw it away. Also, completely fine. This is option number 2, and this is actually what we do in restaurants. You can get multiple uses out of this oil. What we're going to do differently here is we're going to take that oil and we're going to strain it. You can use coffee filters, you can use cheesecloth, you can buy actual fryer filters on Amazon. But we want to make sure we get all of the impurities that we can out of it. We want to drain all of that out so we get as close to pure oil as possible. Once that's drained out, go ahead and put that into either a proper sized jar or a lidded container that you can close, or even back into the jug you got it from. And then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. The temperature control of a refrigerator is going to keep that oil longer before it goes rancid. For most frying, we recommend no more than 3 uses out of oil before it starts to get really kind of gross and makes the food not taste good. And there you have it. Now you have an at-home fryer station set up. This episode is the foundation for frying food like a professional chef at home every single time. We can't wait to get back into the kitchen and start frying all sorts of fun things. If you want those episodes as soon as they come out, go ahead and press that bell notification, like, subscribe, and then while you're here, drop us a comment. Let us know what your favorite fried food is. Again, whether it's a stuffed jelly donut, a deep fried Oreo, the perfect kettle chip, or a great piece of fried chicken. Till the next one, we'll see ya.